Have you ever wondered how you can unlock new opportunities and knowledge that can truly change your journey as an African immigrant? Then, you're in the right place. Welcome to the AIM Expert series, where we bring you insightful sessions, packed with practical strategies from top experts on topics that matter most to you. So, if you're looking to grow your career or understand the US system, then grab a chair and don't go anywhere. Now, let's get started on today's session.
All right, we're live. Good afternoon again, everybody. Thank you for joining this week's masterclass series. I'm excited because we haven't had MASI in a long time, so so it's good to have her back on the masterclass platform. If you are new to AIM, welcome. First of all, where have you been? We have these masterclass sessions every week. It's a way of giving back to the community where we have our knowledge partners, experts like Marcy come and talk about the experience and just teach something. That's our way of giving and empowering the community and continuing to build this ecosystem for Africans in the diaspora to thrive. And so, welcome again. Tell everybody about the work that we're doing. But because of time, we'll jump right in with a few quick things to keep in mind. Please, if you have questions, you can use the chat or keep them to towards the end. Our speaker will give you time to ask the questions if you want to ask questions out loud. Outside of that, I think we can go ahead and get it started. So, without further ado, she needs no introduction. She's massive brands, massive Chukwuemeka. She's going to be taking us through today's topic. I'm excited because it's about systems, and every business needs one. So, uh, buckle your seatbelt. You're in for a ride. Welcome, Marcy. Over to you.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, everyone. So first of all, welcome, everyone. Hi, I hope you're all doing amazing. And I want to say welcome to AIM's Masterclass series. Thank you for taking your Saturday out to spend it here with us. And of course, to also learn about how you can make your business better. So today I'm going to talk about something that is boring. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs find it boring. However, it is something that is needed for every business, and that is systems. But a little about me, my name is MASI Chukwuemeka, and I am an award-winning entrepreneur. I'm also a storyteller, and I'm a community builder. And I am the founder of Bertram Singh Corporation, which is an ecosystem that houses massive brands, Tribes and History, and Bell Sisters. And through massive brands, we help founders not just build compelling identities, but we also help them with affordable and trained virtual assistants. And Bell Sisters is a community that supports Black and Brown female founders. And I am also, very active and unofficial here at AIM. And yes, that's that about me. So now back to what we're here for. Now we're here for systems. And so first of all, I know that some of you might be building your businesses. You're probably just maybe in your first year or your first month. Actually, before I go into that, let me ask how many people here are entrepreneurs? Please, this is going to be active, okay? This is going to be an interactive session, so drop in the chat if you're an entrepreneur or if you think you're going to the entrepreneurship field. Okay. Okay. So, all right, so Doc, you said yes, you're an entrepreneur. So, I mean, that's exciting. I know it's also scary, but yes, feels brand new all the time, definitely. So I know that there are some of us here that are entrepreneurs, which can be exciting. Some of us maybe we're just starting out. It might be our first month, it might be our first year. Some of us who might still be trying to get our first customers, or we're just figuring out exactly what our business needs to be. what I'm going to say about that is, wherever you are in your journey, you're exactly where you need to be. But I'm going to talk about something that many entrepreneurs, they're really not excited about, and that's systems. So personally, when I first heard the word systems, I was like, okay, what is this? I thought it sounded boring for me. I just thought it was just for Fortune 500 companies or for businesses that had, 50 employees and 100 employees, and they were making over $1 million a year or something, right? I thought to myself, okay, when my business gets there, then I'll create systems. But again, I couldn't have been more wrong, because I do want you to understand that systems is not just something, it's not something you build because your business is successful, but it's actually one of the reasons that your business can become successful. So before I, go further into this, please raise your hand if you've experienced any one of these. And you can raise your virtual hand because I don't think you can turn on your camera. So let me know if at some point in running your business, you forgot to respond to a customer, or you forgot to send an invoice, or you forgot where, a file was. You spent maybe like 20 minutes on your computer because you couldn't remember what you named a file, or you posted on social media 3 days in a row, then you disappeared for maybe 4 weeks. Raise your hand if this has ever been you. Okay, Esther, I see you. Okay. Yes, Doc, definitely. So what I'm going to say is, if you've experienced even any of those, congratulations, you're normal. Because every entrepreneur has been there, right? But the thing is, these are not just random mistakes. It's not just, oh, this mistake happened, that mistake happened. They are actually signs that your business needs system. A lot of us entrepreneurs, we just believe that our business just needs a good idea, a good product, and then the customers, and that's basically it. But you're not really told that there is also the organizational piece of it. You keep thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to put this in this folder. I'm going to put that in this folder. I will organize everything after. When I have more customers, I will build the systems. When I hire someone, I'll build the systems. When I make more money, I'll build the systems. But what actually happens is, because you're not organized, you then become overwhelmed. Because remember that file we're talking about that you spent 30 minutes looking for. Just at 30 minutes alone, you're already tired, and you might not even want to do what you are supposed to do with that file because you spent 30 minutes looking for it. And now, because you're overwhelmed, you become inconsistent. And now, because you're inconsistent, your customers become confused. And because they become confused, they don't buy the services that you're selling. So what happens is that the business stays small, and then you're kind of stuck in this loop of, some frustration and just trying to figure out what's going on. And it's not because you don't know what you're doing as an entrepreneur, but it's because your business doesn't have any structure. So let me give you guys a practical example, okay? So imagine two people open a bakery. Both of them make amazing cakes. They both charge the same prices. They both work hard, right? But then the first baker, let's call the first baker Baker A. Each order that they take it on a sticker note, right? Random sticker notes. Maybe today they'll write it on whatchamacallit, on a paper towel. Tomorrow it will be like a random sticker note. The day after, it will be a notebook. Some of them are in their text messages. Some are on Instagram DMs. Some are on WhatsApp. Some of them are not even written down. It's just in their head, right? But then the second baker has one notebook, and every order that they have goes into that notebook. And in that order, you're going to see the customer name, the customer phone number, the pickup date, the deposit paid, the cake flavor, everything that the customer needs. Now, I've given you baker A and baker B. 6 months later, which of the two bakers would you think is less stressed? In this scenario, remember, baker A uses napkins and, notebooks and random things here and there that they find, but baker B just has one notebook where they put in everything. Which one would you think is less stressed? Please put your answers in the chat. I'm going to wait until I see your answers. Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Doc. Okay. Yes, exactly. Thank you all. Thank you, guys. Exactly. Baker B is going to be less stressed because, they are giving the customer a better experience because everything is written down in one notebook. And it's not, again, because baker B's cake is better, because remember we said both of them, they are excellent bakers. However, just because of one simple thing, which is systems, you see that 6 months later, baker B is in a much better position. And again, this brings me to one of the biggest lies that we tell ourselves as entrepreneurs. And I have told myself that lie a couple of times, which is that I am too small to need systems, right? We say, okay, I just started my business 3 months ago, or I just started it 6 months ago. I'm going to do the systems later. And we keep pushing it off, right? But the thing is, you are not too small not to have systems, right? Large companies. So when you think about Fortune 500 companies, they have thousands of customers, right? So let's say a large company with 1,000 customers, they can lose 10 customers and they are able to keep going. But a small company that has maybe one employee and 5 customers, you can't really afford that. Even if you're a solo founder, you can't really afford that. Because again, every customer matters, every dollar matters, every hour matters. And that also means that the systems matter even more. So now I'm going to be, because I know for the past roughly 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes thereabouts, I've just been saying systems, systems, systems. So what exactly is systems? From what I've said so far, does anyone have any idea? I'm going to pause and see if anyone, Doc, I don't know, can they come off mute?
Yeah, they can.
Okay.
They're able
Please
to.
feel free to raise your hand and come off mute if you can give me the definition of system, because I've just been saying systems for the past 10 minutes. Don't be shy. You can raise your hand or you can just unmute yourself.
I could say it's systems, just a connection of structure to make processes more streamlined, regardless of how simple or complex they are.
That is correct. But the simpler definition, even, it's literally a repeatable way of doing something. All right. So Just let me give you an example, right? You have your business, someone books your service. You send them the same welcome email each and every time. Or someone tries to pay for your service and they get the same link, they get the same checkout process, right? That's you having that system. I mean, of course, now if you have a contract, ensure that you're personalizing it. Okay, don't send the exact same contract that you sent to client A to client B, because of course you have to change the names, you have to change, the dates. But systems, they're basically the same repeatable process. And one thing you're going to notice in the examples I gave is that none of them require I'm not asking you to go and get something that you have to pay for some big software or you have to hire employees to do. It's basically the repeatable way of doing things in your business. A personal example that I have is when I first actually started my business, true story, I was just I would send proposals and they were always different. But again, these were proposals for building websites. The client onboarding process was always also different for each client. And then one day I just thought to myself, I was like, why am I doing all this work? Each time a client asks for proposal, I go and I download and I do all this unnecessary work. And I realized I was actually creating unnecessary work for myself. And I was making even the task harder than it needed to be. So what I did was I just started creating templates. And I realized that it made my workload to become lighter. And again, that's what systems do, because again, they reduce decision fatigue. So one thing I'm going to ask you is, you don't need to come off mute or type in the chat, but think about the last 2 weeks in your business, right? Think about maybe a task that you've repeated 2 to 3 times. Maybe you're answering the same customer questions over and over again, or the same email. Whatever it is, that repeated task, that's basically the first place you should start building a system. So if systems are so simple like this, why is it that we as entrepreneurs, why do we avoid creating them? Because I know personally too, I avoid creating them. Can anyone take a go? Why do you think as entrepreneurs we avoid creating systems? Don't be shy, guys. Remember, I said this is going to be interactive. Don't leave me hanging. Okay, I see here. Doug said extra. Spot on. Spot on. Yes. Extra work. Because actually, me personally, this is me, my own example. The last month, my financial system has kind of been chaotic because what I was using before, I was trying to change it. And then what happened was I had a client reach out to me 3 times and they were like, hey, MASI, I still haven't been charged for the phase 2 of the project. Hey, MASI, I saw that email 3 times. And I remember I thought to myself, do I really have so much money that the client is now the one chasing me to come and, pay for, and I had delivered that phase 2 of the project. And I thought to myself, exactly, this is because I was moving from the system that I had before to another system, right? So again, and now going back to why we avoid creating systems is it's because of the mindset, because the thing is, we usually think to ourselves, okay, it's extra work. I don't have that time. But when you think about it, just think about the time that having a system is going to save you. And, let's kind of go into that. So I'm going to give you another example. You own a cleaning company, you get a new client. Now, without the system, your process can probably look like, okay, they send you a message, you respond, you ask for their address, what kind of cleaning they want, what day works, you give them a price, they agree. You remember to put them on your calendar. Then you have to remember to send them payment confirmation. Then, of course, following up, showing up, and then maybe you also remember to ask them for a review. I don't know if you guys see what the problem is. Again, there's nothing really wrong with any of the steps on there. The problem is that everything depends on you, and everything also depends on you remembering every step. And I'm pretty sure you're not a computer, you're not a robot. So if you want to turn that into a system, just simply write it down. Step 1, the customer completes the inquiry form. Step 2, you review the information. Step 3, you send the appropriate quote. Step 4, the customer accepts, right? So you just have all of it down. You have that process down. And again, remember what I said before. I did say you needed an expensive software to do this. You can literally start with a Google form for the inquiry, right? A Google Calendar for booking appointments, a Google spreadsheet. You can have email templates on Gmail, and then you can have checklists. That alone is enough to have you start up with something. So as I said before, please don't think that you have to have a huge $200 a month software to be able to do all of these. And don't also go and spend 3 weeks of your time just researching on the perfect software. Because again, if your business hasn't gotten to that level, of course, your business will get to that level at some point, depending on, your customers, on your number of customers. But if you only have 2, 3, 4 clients, you don't have to go and spend $200 on a system when you haven't even started making that amount of money. So just when someone becomes a client, to write down the first step. Or, okay, if someone contacts me about my service, what is the thing that happens? If I want to publish on social media, how do I write it down? That can become part of your marketing system. It doesn't have to be complicated. So now for businesses, right, I want you to start thinking about the areas where you can create systems. For me, there are 5 major areas that I think about when I think of, okay, this places, there needs to be systems. The first is your sales. How does it happen? How do people go from hearing about you to becoming paying customers? How do your leads happen? How do you follow up? Or is it that when you get a lead, you forget about it, and then 2 months later you go back to the DM and you say, oh, I'm sorry. How do you close the sale? How do you track the prospects? For your marketing system, how are people discovering your business? How often do you post? How do you collect the contact information? That's like, the email address which you need for the email marketing. What happens after someone engages with your content? For instance, on Instagram right now, a practical thing you can do is when someone engages, there's an app called ManyChat that can respond to the person, and then you can get the person into your DM, and then from there you can send them a link. Maybe you send them a link to the lead magnets, right? And then for them to get that lead magnets, they can put their emails, and you get their emails, and they're able to get the lead magnets. Again, there is also your client management system. What happens after someone pays you? How do you onboard them? How do you communicate with them? How do you deliver the service? Do you even follow up after the project finishes, right? Because after the project finishes, I would say maybe, I mean, of course, you thank them, you get a review, and then after that, let's say 2 months, 3 months down the line, you just do like a check-in. Again, also the financial part, your invoices, how do you track your income? Remember, like I said, it doesn't have to be complicated, right? You just need to keep those processes and keep it consistent across. We also have the operations part. Let me give you guys a story. Let me tell you guys what happened. So, but this past month in July, I was actually like, I was very sick, like literally the 4th of July, right? I was very sick and I was away for probably like 3 weeks. And I remember thinking to myself, and I actually told my friend, I said, I was away from my business for roughly 3 weeks, 3 weeks to like a month. If I did not have an operations manager who I had hired and who I had given all of my processes and the step-by-step of where all the documentations were, I'm not sure what would have happened. So think to yourself, if you were to step out of your business for 2 weeks, is it going to fall apart? Because the good thing about systems and about having a standard way to do things is if you were not around, someone can always step in and be able to do the things that you do. And this again, brings us to what can happen when you don't have systems. Because if you've been listening to everything that I've been talking about so far, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, I understand what a system is, but MASI, I'm a solo entrepreneur. I'm still a small business. Is this something I need to be worrying about right now? Yes, my sister and my brother. That's something you need to be worrying about. It's not to make your business more complicated. But again, if you don't have systems, you're going to be paying for it in ways that you might not really see it immediately. Because you're going to be reinventing the wheel. You're going to have missed opportunities. The way you do things is going to be inconsistent. There is also burnout. And this is the part I hate most, where you are the bottleneck. Everything in the business has to go through you. So one of the biggest problems with having a system is that you're constantly starting all over. Maybe let's look at maybe like a graphics designer. A new client comes in and they say to you, I want a logo. And then you're thinking to yourself, okay, what questions should I ask them? What information should do I need from them? Do I have any proposal that I'm going to send to them? How am I going to collect payments? Today, you collect payments with your brother's Apple Pay. Tomorrow, you use your mother's Zelle. The day after, you use Cash App. That's so inconsistent. So again, when you don't have systems, you're always reinventing the wheel. There is also the next cost of missed opportunities, right? You're not following up with the customers who you already have access to. Someone sends you a message on Instagram and they say, hey, I'm interested in your coaching package. How much is it? You respond and then they say, okay, let me think about it. And you say, sure. And then that's basically it. And I'm not going to lie. I also have done this, right? But then 3 weeks later, you realize, oh, wait, what happened to that person? You forgot to follow up. But the thing is, that person is a lead. And if you had a lead tracker, you would have been able to track them and you'd have been able to be following up. So that's, again, the missed opportunities that can come from you not having systems. And it doesn't have to be some complicated thing. It can just be a spreadsheet. We have the third inconsistency. We have the third cause when you don't have system, which is inconsistency, right? And this is important when you're delivering a service. So think about this. You have client A, you have client B. Because you don't have systems, client A receives a welcome email, client B doesn't. Client A receives weekly updates, client B doesn't. Client A, they get a report at the end of the month, client B does not. Again, you're probably overwhelmed, but from the customer's perspective, it can feel very unprofessional. They don't really know you're overwhelmed, and honestly, they might not care because to them, they have paid for a service and they expect professionalism. So that can be another cause of not having systems. The fourth cause is also burnout, because think about it, when everything lives in your head, you can never really turn your business off. You're eating dinner, you're thinking about the email that you forgot to send. You're taking a walk, you're thinking about the client that you need to follow up. And that again is also where the burnout can come from. And then we look at the fifth cause, which that's the one I hate the most, which is the bottleneck. That's the one that I'm really trying to work on in my business. Because when you don't have a system, everything has to go through you. If you have a virtual assistant, they are always asking you, oh, I need to find this file. They need a file, they have to ask you. They want to send an email to a client, they have to ask you. You become the center of every single decision. And maybe, at first you might think, okay, I'm the pro, nobody can do this like me. But then you start to realize that your business, it can't even move faster than you can because you're literally the bottleneck. If you're not there, the business doesn't move. So just think about yourself as a business owner. Think about where you are as a business owner, your quality of life, even as a business owner. If every little thing in your business requires your attention, then you don't even have the opportunity to actually focus on the thing that requires you, the actual things that require you. So now we've, talked about the cost of not having systems. Let's talk about, creating a simple one, because I know that you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, yes, this is great, but it's just me. I don't have a big budget. I don't have employees. I don't even have time to do the actual work. And I totally understand that, right?
Hello,
And
MASI. Sorry to interrupt you. I know you had presentation you're not sharing. I wanted to bring that to your attention. I sent you a message, but it looks like you didn't see it. So
no, are you serious? And I've been going and
yeah,
going.
you've been
Oh
like I
my
don't
God.
make you.
I am so sorry, guys. I am so sorry. I had the whole thing prepared. Okay,
Yeah,
let me share. Please let me know if you can
there
see
we
my
go. I can see
screen.
it.
Oh, we are nearing almost the end.
Better late than never.
Well, okay. No, first of all, thank you, Doc, for that. Really do appreciate you bringing that to my attention. My apologies again, guys. As you can see, I had my whole presentation and everything out there.
So
Okay.
we need a system too for.
We need a system. Yes, we do need a checklist, make sure you can present. We do need that. But yes, apologies again, guys. So back to our systems, right? As I was saying, you can be thinking to yourself, you can be thinking, okay, Massey, it's just me. I don't really have anybody. I don't have employees. I'm still trying to get customers. And I understand that, right? I understand that as an entrepreneur, there is a million and one things to do, and you might not even have the time to do the actual work. And now you're thinking, with all of this to do, that to do, this to do, I also still need to create systems. So, and that's why I don't want you to approach it like a large corporation, right? You're not trying to build a whole corporate, you're not trying to build a bureaucracy. You're just trying to make your business easier for you to run. And I also don't want you to sit down and think, okay, I am going to create all the systems that I need in all parts of my business today. No, my dear, you will be overwhelmed. You'll be very, very overwhelmed. So what I want you to do is for the next couple of weeks, pay attention to what you're doing in your business. Let's say you have a virtual assistant and 3 times in a week, they're asking you, how do I name this file again? Write that down because that's something, that is coming up again and again. Or every time you do something more than once, ask yourself, is this something that I can document? Every time you find yourself asking the same question, think, can I create a template for this? Can I create a checklist for this? Is there a reminder that I can create for this? You create them based on what is actually being done in your business, not what you think that your business needs. So let's use a baker because we've been using bakers in this masterclass. So if you're a baker, let's say you have a process for making a custom cake. You receive the order, you confirm the design, you send the invoice, you collect the deposit, you purchase the ingredients, you buy the cake, you decorate it. You may already be doing all of these things, but the thing is, you don't really have it written down somewhere. So just simply start writing it down. Simply start writing it down as your process of making custom cakes. Just open up your Google Doc and write down custom cake order process. And then as you're doing that, also turn things that are repeated into templates. For instance, one of the templates, I think I said this at the beginning, that I used to, create a new proposal and contract every single time, but it was literally websites. So what I did was I just created templates. I'm like, this is the template for, 1-page website. This is a template for 5-page website. Whenever a client orders for this website, I just give that template to them. The only thing is I just have to change out, the name or, well, the prices are constant, at least in my own case, but just personalize it. So if there are things that, you're sending over and over again, like a welcome email, you basically just create a template for it. Like I said, I'm not really saying just copy and paste it without thinking. Like I said before, just personalize it, ensure that you personalize it where it's necessary. So that's also another way that you can start creating your system. Then, there are checklists too. If you're, let's say, a photographer, before every client session, you need a camera, you need memory cards, you need batteries, you need lighting equipment and all of that. Don't just try to remember it in your head. Create that checklist. It's very funny that this happened, Doc, because One of the systems that we use also for Zoom meetings is we literally have like a Zoom meeting process. We have to check, is everybody's can anybody change their their name? We make sure they can change their name. You know, this is for bad actors, right? We have to check for the registration, you know, is the registration processing. We also have to check for the recording, ensure that once the meeting starts, you're recording. So we also have that checklist. So basically what I'm saying is you can create that for your business. And I'm not trying to say that you have a terrible memory or anything like that. I'm just saying we're not robots. At least I'm not a robot. I'm not a computer. And you can't really trust your memory to run everything. And let's even say you have 10 over 10 perfect memory that you can trust your memory. What if in the case where you want to bring someone in? If you want to bring someone in, don't you think it makes it easier when all of those checklists already exist? So you can just give it to them and say, when we're going to photograph a client, this is the process that we follow. So, you know, these are kind of the things that I want you to be thinking about in creating a new system. And as I said before, please don't make the mistake of thinking I have to pay $200 a month before I can create a system. No, just start with what you have. Google Suites, Google Workspace is, you know, it's free until you start going into the higher tiers and all. So you can actually start with that, right? Start documenting things. And also what you remember is because your business is ever evolving, your systems are also going to be evolving. So that's one way that you can start creating simple systems. And as I said before, don't try to sit down and try to do 5 systems at a time, right? Don't leave this presentation and you're thinking to yourself, oh my God, I'm going to have to go and build 5 systems in the next 1 week. No, you can just take it one step at a time. You build one, then the month after that, you build the other, and then the month after that, you build the other. So as we're leaving here today, for everyone on the call, I am giving you a 7-day challenge. But the thing is, I'm not the one speaking next week, because if not, when you guys come back, I'll say, okay, did you do the challenge that I asked you to do? But I'm going to say over the next 7 days, think of one process in your business that you currently do repeatedly, right? It could be how you onboard a new client. It could be how you send invoices, how you respond to new inquiries, or even how you follow up with customers. Just pick one, right? I want you to write it down, every step. Just get it out of your head. I want you to look for all your necessary steps. Ask yourself, is there an easier way that I can do this? Right? Maybe you can eliminate a step, or maybe you can combine 2 steps together, or maybe you can create a template and then just use it. Now, actually use it. I'm not saying just create it and dump it there. I'm saying actually use it. So as I'm rounding up, I want you to think about this, please. I don't want this to be just one of those, you attend a masterclass, you go to a program, when you're in there, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then you go back to what you were doing before. I don't want it to be one of those. I want you to actually implement this assignment. I want you to really, really challenge yourself and think to yourself, I'll do it. You can just take out 30 minutes a day and try to start it. Because I really want you to think, as business owners, if you continue to run your business exactly the way you're running it today for the next 12 months, what would happen? How would it be? How would it look like? Today's August 8th. So if by August 8th, 2027, you're running your business exactly the way you're running it right now, Would you be more organized? Would you still be forgetting things? Would you be still doing everything from your memory? So I do want you to, as I said before, just challenge yourself. Stop thinking, I'm going to create these systems, I'm going to do this when my business starts earning this amount. Even if your business is making 500 a month, still create it. You don't need, you don't need your business to be a Fortune 500 for you to begin tracking your leads. So as I said before, just start small, document something, create one process, improve on it, and then do it again. And then eventually you're going to start noticing that all of those, your Google Docs and everything that feels like chaos, it's going to start feeling like consistency. So I'm going to end this here. And I do want to say thank you everyone for coming. Thank you everyone for, as I said before, taking out your Saturday to come share it with us here at the AIM Masterclass. And I will open the floor up for questions. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you, MASI. Does anyone have any quick questions for MASI before we tie today up? Any questions around how to get started? What she recommends? All right, while you think about your question, before I let you all go, I want to let us know about something that is coming. If you're not in our ecosystem already and you don't know, well, everything we just went through in the master class, the teaching that we just received and the learning, multiply that by 3 days of this happening. That's what the summit is about. So we are doing the summit. Our annual summit is this September 4th to 6th. So we are less than a month away from our annual summit. It's that Labor Day weekend, and we are bringing together 250 African immigrant professionals, entrepreneurs, and executives, right? Community builders, and it'll be happening here in Atlanta at the Historic Academy of Medicine at Georgia Tech. So it's a great location in the center of the city. It's 3 days just packed. We'll have masterclass sessions like this. We'll have deep dive sessions on Saturdays. We'll have our gala for the first time. We'll have general sessions. We have incredible speakers lined up. If you go and see the past events we've had, you see the lineup of speakers that we've had. It's always a great time with the summit, and yeah, so tickets are live. The early bird tickets are over, but we still have the regular tickets. So if you want to, I urge everyone to get their tickets now. For both general admission and gala tickets, they're all live. I put the link in the chat. Please don't wait till the last minute to sign up. So the display, everything's on the screen, but go ahead, scan the QR code. I put the link in the chat. And don't just come, also invite somebody as well to come and be a part of the event. It's our big event of the year. It's our culminating event, and it's also a big way to get some funds into the community so we can continue to do what we're doing. So every ticket you buy is also help us fund our mission. So beyond just putting together an event, it's also how we power our events. We're a non-profit, so that's the only everything we do. Sessions like this, we get to get people like MASI and incredible speakers come and speak for free. The only way we can do that and pay for things and keep the organization running is when we have small events like that. So, not small events; it's a big event. We have events like that. That's our way of generating revenue to keep the doors open. So. You are doing more than buying the tickets. You are also supporting our mission to continue to empower the African diaspora here in the United States. So please go ahead and get your tickets. If you want to partner with us as an ambassador, that opportunity exists as well. We can send you more information regarding that. But go ahead, get your tickets, and let's make this one for the record books. I see a hand raised. Oju, go ahead.
Yes, I just want to tell Mercer, thank you so much for what you shared and presented. My question was this, because I have a full-time job that's not a business. And so I'm just starting my business. And so I find that many times it's hard to find a system to organize my time. Do you find that before you, I mean, obviously the business, but what do you suggest for someone who's just starting out before you can consistently find the time to set up the system? Do you find that people need just a system for just their own personal life? Does that make sense? I don't know if you have anything that would be helpful, just like the time to organize, to work on the business, to find the time before you work in the business.
Are you asking for, I want to make sure I actually understand the question. Are you asking for like a software to be able to,
No, I was thinking more like an organizational system. Is there something that, like a Google Calendar to put the time in, or finding 2 hours of time at night? I mean, like a system to organize yourself before you can get in your business. So your business is not just kind of here and there with chunks of time throughout your day.
okay, like a Google Calendar to be able to allocate times for your
I
business?
guess any kind of system. I mean, maybe if a Google Calendar is a starting point, that could be one system, but any kind of system to help the person who's starting their business to kind of organize themselves before they get into, even before they, to take almost like a pre-system before the business system. I guess that's what I'm asking. And maybe what are some things that will be helpful for that, for organizing the time?
Before I get into that, I see Miss Stella, you're raising your hand.
Yeah, I wanted to add on to, I wanted to share my thoughts on her question, but if you want to go first, you can.
Okay. I was again, I just wanted to make sure I understand correctly, but from what I understand, like a pre-system to organize yourself before your business. Personally, right now, what I even use is Google Calendar. I use Google Calendar, and I also use I have Honeybook Calendar and also have Calendly. But the thing about it is that they are all integrated into each other. So if someone were to book like a business time in my calendar, I would still get it across in my Google Calendar. And I can still be able to use that for my own personal obligations. I'm not sure how helpful that is because it's like a pre-system before an actual system, but I will let Miss Stella go.
Absolutely. Hey, Miss Ojo, are you based in Atlanta?
Yes.
All right, I'm hoping that I get to see you at Summit because we'll be talking about this in person right there and helping you build your system. So that's the first thing. So please get your ticket to join or to attend the Summit. But I also want to
Okay.
add this, right? Our businesses would only amplify how we are organizing our personal day-to-day, our job, right? And for someone who already has a 9 to 5, first of all, kudos to you for wanting to balance your 9 to 5 with also wanting to build your business. But the truth of the matter is, we don't really have that much time, especially if it's a 9 to 5 that has demands of you and there are other responsibilities. And so your time is literally an asset. So this would be my recommendation. I had a really good friend of mine. She had a 9 to 5, but she was also a chef and a caterer. She literally had a front office shop. So what she did before she opened her front office shop was during her lunch hours, for example, her 12 to 1 or whatever amount of whatever your lunch is, she protected it. Most of the times we don't protect our lunch hours. We start early, we close late. And so now knowing fully well that you cannot multiply your time, you have to maximize your time. You have to really be very, I would say, strict and put boundaries around the timing that are given to you and use that. And literally before that time comes, ask yourself, what do I want to achieve with this 1 hour towards my business? And so the business would have a large goal. Like, what's your short-term goal? What's your mid-term goal? What's your long-term goal? What is my goal for this week, right? And so that by the time that 1 hour comes, you are very specific as to what success looks like for you in that 1 hour. So that's one thing I would definitely say. And another thing I would say is not trying to boil the ocean, because sometimes we try to achieve some like a long-term goal or a 3-month goal in a one hour time zone, and then it looks like you're just exhausted. You just go around the circles. So that specificity is very important, and that's why I said you need to be in person at Summit, because they were able to help you. Like, okay, so what's your goal for your business? What is your business? What are you trying to achieve in 3 months, 6 months, 1 month? And how can we hold you accountable towards that? Because time is an asset for you, right? And so we have to manage time and amplify it, also using the systems and the tools. So I would say MASI has given us like the Honey Book, the Google Calendars. Most of the time, we always want to get new tools without really using the existing tools. And so Google Calendar is free. block your lunch hour and have an agenda for yourself, right? That's one. I mean, your iPhone has a notebook app, right? What do I want to do in that 1 hour too? So I would say also look into what you have existing, but also figure out what pockets of time can I protect? Like, am I chatting on the phone? Am I scrolling? And things like we literally have to, like, what would I say, set boundaries around our time. And I'm sharing this because I've been through that process and I absolutely understand where you're coming from.
No, that was good. I think that's why I needed to hear. I think you sold me on on going to the summit. So thank you,
Yeah.
because I didn't know whether it means you don't need to start a business because you're now ready to do all those tools or like a pre-business starting point, but I hear what you're saying, that you can block the time and protect it and just try to work within that time. Create a system for just that time before you start creating other systems for a business. So
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. And the one way you can thank me is to get your ticket, Miss Oju. All right.
All right. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that was excellent. I think we can definitely workshop that, deep, especially as a 9 to 5, but also trying to run a business. That's his own masterclass. But definitely incredible as always. Thank you so much, Masi, for sharing. And we'll get the replay for this to us by Tuesday. So if there's anything you missed, please be on the lookout in emails. Make sure you're connected to us on all of our social media platforms, on WhatsApp especially, but also subscribe to our YouTube so that when this goes live, you can get to watch the replay. And please connect with Marcia as well. She is active on all social media platforms, on LinkedIn, on Instagram. She has an exciting newsletter to to be a part of. I enjoy reading the newsletter. So she has it going. So just make sure you're connected into a massive ecosystem. She does a lot. She has conferences coming up and things. So anyway, but yeah, that's the power of community. So please let's stay connected. And just I want everyone to save this time on your calendar. 2 p.m. every Saturday. It's our Sunday in AIM. It's like our church masterclass every Saturday. Just know it's happening, and figure out what's going on. But keep your calendar open every Saturday 2 p.m. and bring somebody to come and see what we're doing. That's how we grow this work and reach the people that need to be reached. So don't keep us as your best kept secret. We don't want to be your secret boo. Tell people about what we're doing. All right, and then get your summit tickets. But thank you, Master. Thanks everyone. Yeah, it is not church. No, but this is our own. This is our, what do you call it? Our own equivalent of Sunday, right? But yes, every Saturday by 2 o'clock we meet and we get information like this. So tell people about the work we're doing. Thank you all so much. We have to jump to another call, but I will see everyone next week by God's grace. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Fine.